Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome to Bringing Back Basic Gray. This is a collaboration with my friend Beth, who is Bourbon Creek Crafts here on YouTube, and Stampin' Cat on Instagram, and I'll link to them in the description down below. I was talking to Mr. Crafting and Relaxing and digging through my Basic Gray bin, and I found some things I wanted to play with, and that's pretty much how I start Basic Gray each month. I thought about the butterflies, but I wasn't quite there yet. Like, I know some of you are, springing, ready for the pastels. I'm not quite there. These elephants intrigued me, but I think the way I have a tendency where to cut a large piece of it and place it, I wanted the pattern to pop more. Oh, and Zuzi wants you to know about his squeaky toy, so welcome to squeaky toy video. Then I was kind of looking for like a thinking of you. I don't know why elephants can remember. I don't know, but I didn't find it. My die filing system is based on what Zelda pulls off the wall when, so it's not good. So we have a many thanks here. And then I was looking and I thought, oh, this is a fun specialty paper, but it doesn't have the contrast that I need. So then I thought, okay, we're going to need another layer, right? We're going to need a stripe or something to make this pop. And I had a big thanks. I have probably 5 different thank you dies and ooh, that would be kind of fun. Around the circle, let's do that. I was looking at many thanks because it was smaller than like some of my big thanks, but I like this and how it plays around the circle. But still, this isn't enough contrast. For me personally, I'm looking for more fun. This is probably the only piece of paper that we have of this. I was prepping this and thought this was going to be it, but it's really violet-y. Is that a word? So here I'm trying to see, when you get all your circle punches out and you start playing, I think this one is this one. So let's check that, see if I'm right. Yes. Let's see if Zelda has left us a circle die and we could go just a tiny bit bigger and get a blue circle. So this is what I've been doing with a lot of the circles and ovals that she takes off the wall, because they're supposed to be nesting dies. It's different sets of ovals, different shapes, and she's taken circles on different days. And I honestly don't think I have them all. Well, that's way too big. Also, she's making a move on the right. She loves the sound, I think. This sound, I think it's like ASMR for cats or something. Let's look and see if maybe in the drawer I have more circles. When I thought this taking the dies off the wall thing was going to be a short-term problem, I was just throwing them into the drawers. I wasn't gathering them or doing anything, so I'm missing a lot. But here's a stitch die, which, probably wouldn't have been my first choice, but I think we can make it work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of this really blue part over here. I don't want a lot of the white speckle since it's just going to stick out. If I don't like it for this card, when we lay it all down, I won't throw it away. We'll use it another day. We'll just put it back in our Basic Gray box. If you're new here, there is a dog playing with, now he's chewing on his ball quietly. There's the skinny cat that likes to steal the dies, is on my right watching. Yeah, I'm using this die cutter. Haven't even busted out my new one yet. I did just notice, oh, this is going to be too small. Okay, because I'm being stingy with my Basic Gray paper, I don't want to chop this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause for a minute. I'll edit it out and either use my Empress, which I'll have to read the directions on and figure out how to make the sandwich, or my Big Shot, because I don't want to cut the paper down. This is my last piece of this beautiful blue paper, so I don't want to cut it off like I usually do and just shove it through my small die cutter. I also found new pads for this. I might as well break those out. New cutting mats, So let me die cut this. I'll be right back. I used my Big Shot, and in case you're wondering, it is still on the floor where we put it during that tidy up video. Ooh, that's kind of fun. And now we know I probably want to keep it. Okay, the blue isn't, I mean, it's not the same blue, but it's a good blue, isn't it? Now we're going to have to think about what do we want to cut the thank you in. I have a tiny little oops here. That's one thing about punches. They're just not as perfect, meticulous. Maybe they are if you didn't buy your punches at Goodwill and they're not old. I tried to ink this already, but there's just this one edge that's driving me nuts, and I might just have to let it go. So I'm going to set this over here because now it has ink on it, and it's permanent ink. So if I get it on this specialty paper, it's not going to just wipe off, even though this is kind of plasticky. So I'm going to put this here, then we'll have this. We could use my precious blue and put it right here. It feels almost too matchy-matchy, and I might want more of a pop. I do have a lot of metallic blues. Let's look and see if there's a specialty paper, metallic blue, that we say was meant to be on this card. Let me zoom you in a little bit more so you can see. Okay, don't judge me. If you're a pink lover, you know you have a bunch too. Wait, hang on. We have to be able to see the card at the same time. Okay, so right there. Okay, that one might be kind of cool. And it is a similar paper to the green, and it looks close to the elephant. And again, we could cut the thank you, and if it doesn't speak to us, we don't have to use it on this card. This is not feeling it. It's not right for the elegance of my elephant, which I think is kind of why I like that pattern, or that paper. It has a bit of a pattern to it. But I know I have miles and miles, and like there's a lot of blue specialty paper in here. Ooh, here's one. Is this different? It is different. It's really rich and I love it, but the other one is closer in color to the elephant. Here, you got fuzzy because the thing was, see? Yeah, so this one's closer. This is what I was thinking, is I have lots of this mirror cardstock. I'm gonna set this out because it's pretty close, and that way if something about that one I don't like. This one is too dark. This one's called Cobalt, and the other one's called Imperial. Whoa, no, hard pass. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another one in here. This is the Cobalt. Okay, there's some chrome. I think I had a time when I was confused and I kept thinking that I needed chrome and silver, and what I probably really needed was gold. I mean, I'm using the word need pretty loosely. This is very violet. It's not the right kind of blue. And also, you do not have to be so obsessive about matching and your patterns. Just sometimes when you're playing with paper that you don't have very much of and you want to make the right card, or you're making it for someone special, you just want to get it right. Okay, this one is called Silky Sky. It's a touch green compared to that. And I don't know what this is, but it's pretty, but it's not the one. But it may be the best one. It's just not the one for the color of the elephant. Oh, it's 12 by 12, so you need to kind of leave it down there. That's why it's down there. I was going to move it up so I see it and use it. Let's put this over here and just be proud that we looked at our specialty paper, and so far we're using bits of it. I hope you are having a great weekend and getting your stuff out and playing, or maybe you're like on a decluttering spree. Let me know what you're working on. Is it a crafty weekend? Are you cleaning and watching me have fun? I hope not. Or are you... Well, what if you're cleaning in your craft room and decluttering, but not like, you know, cleaning your bathroom? That just doesn't sound fun any day, no matter what you're watching. I am like a big, okay, start the dishwasher or the laundry and then go do something else. But when I'm making you guys a video, I can't do laundry because it makes noise. I mean, I'm literally like 20 feet from the washer. Okay. It's a little off compared to this, but I think I like it because I think it'll make the elephant pop. So let's see what we think. Ways that you could make this more exciting if you wanted. You can, I probably wouldn't heat emboss on this specialty paper, but say it was a flat cardstock or something, you could do that. You could just hit it with clear, or if you wanted, you could just hit it with silver. I mean, we could just change the color completely and use cardstock if we didn't have anything that we liked paper-wise. Maybe, yeah, blue embossing powder or pink, or, you know, your color of choice. Just sub in the color name. Or you could use clear, but on this specialty paper, I don't know. We probably burned down or something. Has a little bit of a plasticky finish. The other thing you can do is you can cut your specialty paper and then you could layer it up on cardstock to just thicken it up and give it more dimension. Especially because this paper isn't that thick. So it might not like pop like you want. When you watch me die cut, I do videos sometimes that are tutorials, but just remember, I'm having fun, just crafting and relaxing, and I maybe didn't bother to reach for the right tools. And you never have to buy anything that I have. And I don't like this highlighter tape, so don't buy that. It was an experiment that my friend Noni and I were conducting, and we have both moved on to other things. I don't know where she stands on it, but I feel like when we have it, we should use it, not just throw it away. But how does she move on? That's a good question. Do you keep it, Noni? Do you use it? Do you just put it on the fence and tell me to use it? Okay, this did not cut right here. Let's see if it didn't cut well. How about that? It may be usable. Let's see if we can get it out clean. And it probably is a reason to start using the new die cutter. I probably should have gone back and forth. If you have a die that you know is questionable and gives you attitude, I have taken a Sharpie and written 2X on them to remind me to go back and forth twice. I have a butterfly die that I love, and I just wrote it on there because I didn't want to throw it out, and it frustrated me every time because it didn't work. So just take a really fine Sharpie and do that. I don't know that I've had that problem. Ooh, that's fun with this before. How much of that paper do we have? She asked after she cut a chunk out of it. If I had a bigger piece, this would be a really nice mat for this card. Because this seems navy. Do you think it is? Maybe I could get like Night of Navy cardstock. Because I think if I just take this and put it on the card, which you can. If you're a limited supply person, or you're in a big hurry, or maybe you're making 80 cards and you have to have them done at the end of the weekend, you can just put it on here. But if you want to jazz it up a little, maybe you want one more layer, or maybe you want to ink the edges, or maybe you have one of those fancy frame dies that like cuts a fancy border. I probably have some of those. Oh, here. These are too strong. She can't get them off the wall. So you could, I think this is the kind that cuts it out. That's not what I meant. This one. This one would trim it and put a stitched border around it. And also you should have thought of that before. If you did something like that, then you would have the stitching around the edge and the stitching on the circle. So it'd just be more interest, especially if you were trying to save on postage, or yeah, I can't pull that off. It's already too small. If you were trying to save on postage, or you only had so much paper, or I don't know, maybe you just love die cutting rectangles and it makes you happy, then go for it. Let's look at Night of Navy. Now, I'm not saying Night of Navy because I think you have to use Stampin' Up! Cardstock. I'm saying that because I think it is the darkest one in my collection as far as my navies go. This one might be good. This is, our friend Andrea picked this up at Goodwill. It has a tiny bit of a green tone, which sort of works in with this, and it has a little bit of a texture, which I don't know if you could see, and doesn't matter at all when you make the background layer. But the Night of Navy, actually, I don't know if you can tell through the shine. Sorry, but I don't know where an open package is, and I don't want to bust this open if we're not going to use it. I don't love it. Maybe this background is actually black. That seems weird. Is it? You ever do that with like your socks in the morning and you can't? No, I don't think it is. So I'm going to try, again, I'll cut it. If we don't like it for this, we don't use it. We've lost nothing. In fact, we have prepped for our next card. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this a little bit large because I'm sure that's 4 inches. I'm guessing. Okay. I'm going to cut this as if we're going to make 2 cards right now. So a regular card is 5.5. I'm going to go just a smidge shorter than that. I know, I'm not a measuring queen, am I, Tony? A smidge, I don't know, it's like an 1/8 or a 16th smaller. A regular card is a 1/4, so again, I'm going to split that. I'm just going a tiny bit smaller because I think, if my memory is correct, yes, that will give me a little border here. And based on how I cut this all, and it's not that you have to do it this way, it's that my green was already cut and I just didn't want to cut it down. Okay, there. Then let's see what we think. You don't have to have this many layers. And if you're doing like international mailing, or if you want to send your friends I lost the circle, but we know it's here, right? It's probably that I just can't see it on this. If you want to put stuff in it, you probably don't want this many. And like this is a pretty thick cardstock. Serious. I can't make this stuff up, you guys. Oh, it's over here on the black. Okay, here we go. I think we're there. What I am wondering, just because I haven't done it in a while, is if I want to pop the elephant up. Foam mount, right? Where do you stand on foam tape? Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's a pain to do it all. I decide I'm not going to pop it up because look, I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the base. The thickness of that is going to make it so that if I pop that up on foam mount, it probably becomes a extra postage card. And I know I've talked about this before, but I want to be sure you're all clear because sometimes I get some comments back where I'm like, no. There is a slot at the post office. I'm trying to figure out how to show you what it looks like. And it is probably about like this. It's probably about 1/4 of an inch. And they have it at the counter. And when you go up, if you're paying for it or if you're asking how much postage, if they're on their game, they're going to pull it out and they're going to put it through that slot. If it doesn't fit through that slot, it is a parcel. It is my understanding, maybe my post office is just mean. At that point, you're paying, I want to say like $4. You're paying a lot. It is not just put a hand processed or hand stamped or whatever those are called stamp on it. It like exponentially grew it, which is fine if you're sending an anniversary card or your best friend's birthday card. But if you were going to send 10 holiday cards, that's going to hurt. So just keep that in mind. That's why I've gotten away from foam mount. The other thing too is, you know, there's the whole like saving the planet thing. If you want to get dimension, another way to do it would be, I could just take this punch and punch some circles and layer them. And then it would pop up and it'd have some depth and it'd look cool. If you can hear Zelda yelling, she's not dying. I mean, like, I don't know what she's doing, but she's perfectly healthy. I hate to say it, knock on wood. As far as I'm aware, we've had no potty accidents. I've been cleaning the box regularly. Everything seems fine. There's no like behavior that leads me to believe she's uncomfortable or anything. She's very happily beating up her big sister. So anyway, she's fine. She just likes to yell. So when you hear that in my videos, just know that she's not trapped. She's not anything. Oh my gosh, look at that. I just really wanted to play up the pattern. And what I thought about doing, just so you guys know, you could look at your pattern papers and maybe have examples or ideas. I was thinking about fussy cutting around this and then having a fun strip of elephants with the shape of the border. I think I did that like on a couple journal pages in the past where I cut around the circles or I cut around whatever was on the page. And I thought that'd be great. Then my elephants would have been weird because they're not directional, but they're not random enough for me. And I didn't think I could get 3. And so finally I just decided, what if I punch one out and use it? And I love how it turned out. I'm a huge ATG gun fan, even those pink, I forgive it. They have gone up crazy in price. So I think I paid $20 for this and I was in love. It's fast. You don't have to take off that second layer of tape. It's not wet glue. It doesn't bind. I mean, I love it, but again, just because I have it doesn't mean you have to have it. And keep in mind how much you're going to use this stuff. If you're just going to do crafts with your grandkids occasionally, there are less expensive products and shortcuts, and I am happy to answer those questions for you. If I was just going to make a couple cards a month or every couple of months, I would use a roll of adhesive, probably like you get at Dollar Tree. You can get it other places and pay a lot more if you want. And if you're doing cards, I'm not worried about acid free. I mean, honestly, I don't even think about it in my scrapbooks like I used to. Oh, I love it. You might be saying, wait, stop, it needs one more thing. If you are, leave me that comment so I know that for next time and I can think about it. But I'm going to glue it together. So by the time I see your note, it's going to be too late. It could have like, let's glue the thank you on here. Well, not on there. Oh, and it has some pattern to it. So let's see. I think I want the thank you. Yeah, This part of the paper, I don't know if you can tell, but one of the cool things about Basic Gray is that it's like mixed media. This rectangle is not exactly the same all over. This has some really dark color, which I like the contrast here. And then this is almost like a blank space that was meant for this thank you. I'm going to glue, there's no particular rule, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue on the thank you and glue it down first. It's getting rough. Hang on, you guys. Okay, get down. Yep, get down. Okay, there we go. I'm going to glue it on first because, you know, sometimes you know exactly where you want your sentiment to be, and hey, sometimes it doesn't turn out perfect. The circle will help me compensate if oh, my K is a little torn up, so I need to layer some glue to fix that up. The circle will help me. I can get it exactly where I want it. My glue is really, I need to put my glue in the cupboard. It's really cold here in Oregon this weekend. I mean, when I say really cold, I know those of you on the east or in the Midwest are like, wimp. Yes, if it is below freezing, I think it is really cold. And so I have the heat up more than normal. I don't just have it almost, you know, non-existent in here. My glue was pretty much sitting under the heater all week. Because I had that die cutting problem, I can see that the N and the K, they're in rough shape. They're really thin, so I'll have to be careful with the amount of glue and getting this together. Remember, you might have heard me say it before, die cuts can't spell. Like, you don't have to trace it a certain way or sequence. You just have to get glue on the outermost areas. I watch people and they like carefully follow the exact word. No. You don't even have to hit every letter depending on how they're laid out. You do have to get the outer edge. Tweezers are nice. Not imperative, but they are nice. And I like the fancy ones better, but I don't know where they are. Okay, now I'm going to turn this because it's easier for me and just kind of get an idea. On these dies that they have some play. If I hurry this too much and I'm not paying attention, my thank is going to be crooked. Not just because it sits down crooked, but because the letters have some flex. So try and be a little careful about what you push down and how much. And then at some point you just have to sort of commit. Especially if you were hard on them, you know, they didn't cut all the way and you were hard on them getting them out of the thing. Like the K is a little weak there. Now I'm pushing, and I'm pushing like flat. I'm being careful not to scoot. Especially if you use Barely Art, because it's a little wetter, and so sometimes when I use that one I mess up and scooch my stuff. It's just, you just have to remember, if you want your border around the edge to be like perfect and you didn't quite get it, trim it before you put it on the card. Something is a little off down here. Maybe something wasn't perfectly square. I don't know what it is. I can live with it, but if you couldn't, now's the time to trim it. I think it's close enough that if I try, I might just mess it up. I'm trying to figure out if glue came out of these. It might have, yeah. And I've got a little something there. Okay, and as my glue dries, because it's art glitter glue, it won't show as much. But a little bit did ooze out. I mean, we're talking like tiny. You probably can't see it. Or it was a lot, and because I don't have my glasses on, we shall see. I'm going to put this right here, and like I was saying, I get to move this, right? It's just, it's easier to adjust this one round circle than the thank you. So I can get it kind of up in that shape and not too close and just how I want it. There. And I like don't have any design training. I just know how I like things sometimes. Okay, there we go. I love that. I love how it plays up the elephant. I think the elephant might be fun for a birthday card too, but I don't know how an adult would take that. Elephants, I don't know how long they live, and they're not the skinniest creature, but I think a kid that likes elephants, or just any person, you know, sometimes people have an affection for certain animals. I have a friend that if I helped her steal a goat at the fair, she would be over the moon. So I make her things with goats on them. We are not stealing a goat. If you don't have a lot of experience with goats, they can be brats. Like, they're cute, but they should stay at someone else's place. Okay, so I'm just, the white and the dark blue, that's going to be a really big contrast. So I'm trying my best to get that straight. But we're assuming I made the card base straight too. Okay, there we go. I think we could put some enamel dots, or we could just leave it just how it is. Maybe this part and this part could use a little something. I don't know. I'm just cleaning up these edges. There's a little bit of, what do you call it? I call it like die cutting dust or fringes, paper hairs. Okay, there we go. Now, I might have an elephant or something that I could put on the inside. I cut this strip off the edge so that I could get my punch close enough. So then what I can do is come back and say, let's put an elephant on the inside. Okay, I am not going to fussy cut this whole thing on camera. I'm going to fussy cut that out. I'm going to glue it on the inside. Then we're done. I hope you're taking time for crafting and relaxing, and that this gave you some inspirational ideas. Any patterned paper in your stash that you're not sure what to do with, you could play up this idea. You could have a star here, or some fancy thing, or an 8-track player, or whatever could be in your circle, and you could apply this. Take care of yourselves. Be sure to check out Beth and Kathy. You can find the links in the description below if you're not familiar with them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.